It's time now for the evening edition for this Monday, February 12, 2024. I'm DeAndre Hamilton, joined by Dana Malcolm. We have your TCI World and Regional Top Stories, a Magnetic Media production.
There's only one place in Providenciales where you can really feel your duty-free savings, and that's at Sam's Club on Leeward Highway. Duty-free bread basket items on top of Sam's Club already low prices? If you're not shopping at Sam's Club, you're paying too much.
It cost $34.6 million to pay the public service in quarter three of this financial year, including cabinet ministers and members of the House of Assembly. Base salaries for non-politicians came in at $24.9 million. NIB and NHIB contributions cost $2.1 million, housing allowances $1.4 million, while transport allowances and telephone allowance were $243,000 and $282,000, respectively. Salaries for the members of the House of Assembly came in at $520,000, with NIB and NHIP at $25,000, total allowances at $138,000. With the increase in public sector salaries, these numbers are certain to rise in the final quarter of the fiscal year, which ends on March 31st. TCIG has already set aside $19 million for that increase. This data comes from the recently published TCI Financial October to December 2023. We've all seen the ads for keto, intermittent fasting, and more diets promising to help us lose that weight. But TCI nutritionist Lakeisha Wilson advises against them.
There is no one special diet. Our emphasis should always be on a balanced diet and focusing on eating foods in its most natural and raw state.
She was speaking as part of Let's Move TCI, which on Friday introduced Know Your Numbers. It takes place from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. with the help of the Ministry of Health and Human Services Mobile Clinic at Butterfield Square every Friday. It's the news that matters most. Dana Malcolm is ahead with top stories from the region.
You can always find what you're looking for and what you need at Quality Food World. Shop retail, shop wholesale. Quality has the brands you know, the brands you love. Always quality. Big savings every day. And remember to look out for sales for even bigger savings. Open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays through Saturdays. Open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sundays. On the 5 Keys Access Road. Quality Food World, a prime trading company.
It's time now for your regional top stories. I am Dana Malcolm. Islands in the Southeast Caribbean that rely on the ocean for tourism are threatened by an oil spill from a water vessel that capsized in Trinidad and Tobago on February 7th, 2024. Reports say at least 15 kilometers of Tobago's coast is affected and that divers discovered damage to a reef. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management listed the spill as a level 2, which means the country can properly address it. However, the Chief Secretary of the island of Tobago, Farley Augustine, on Saturday, February 10th, informed the government may list it as a level 3, the highest. Government staff, joined by about 1,000 volunteers, are trying to clean up the oil. The vessel, discovered by the T&T Coast Guard, is called the Gulfstream, which was abandoned by its crew and could have been carrying sand and lumber. Emergency management is urging fisherfolk and beachgoers to steer clear of the area extending from Rockley Bay to Cano Bay for safety reasons. Additionally, Trinidad and Tobago's carnival celebrations are nearing and no major events have been cancelled, but reports say at least one parade has already been called off as a precaution. Former British Virgin Islands Premier Andrew Foy is facing possible life imprisonment after being found guilty for conspiring to import cocaine into the United States, along with 3 related money laundering and racketeering charges. He will be sentenced on April 29, 2024. Foy was arrested on April 28, 2022 in Miami following a U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration sting operation. Also arrested in Miami with Foy for the same offense was BVI Port Director Olin V. Maynard. Maynard's son, Kadeem Maynard, was also arrested in the Caribbean and brought to Miami for being involved. The Miami Herald reports that the Maynards pled guilty to the cocaine smuggling conspiracy, and Olin V. Maynard testified against Foy. Kadeem Maynard, who, according to his attorney, played only a minor role in the cocaine scheme, was sentenced in November for 5 years. Olin V. Maynard's hearing is scheduled to take place after Foy's. You're listening to Magnetic Media, the power of attraction.
In cuffs with a 6-man UK-based escort of detectives was how 2 of 3 men remanded on conspiracy to supply firearms arrived in court last Tuesday. 41-year-old Ryan Smith, represented by Lara Maroof Mizik, and James Ferguson, 27, represented by Sheena Mayer, appeared in the magistrate's court, only though to have their cases transferred to the Supreme Court. They were then remanded, and a sufficiency hearing is set for early March 2024. The allegations are that sometime in 2021, Smith and Ferguson were involved with supplying firearms, ammunition, and in 2023, drugs with a now deceased Jamila Isma. Also named as being involved is Chunko Seymour and his son Shakimi Seymour, 23, the younger man having been in prison on remand for nearly 3 years in a separate North Caicos shooting case. The elder Seymour is in the Dominican Republic, undergoing medical treatment from a vehicle accident, according to police, but it was confirmed by the Serious Crimes Unit. He too will be charged immediately upon arrival back home as part of the conspiracy allegations. That's your news in the evening edition. Thank you for joining us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. Look for MM Caribbean.